Not on. Oh, there we go. I was about to stab a bitch. Thank you, Angel. If only gay people felt the same about me. I don't mind fucking them, I just wish they wouldn't talk. God. Other homosexuals are awful. They're Look at this room, isn't it wonderful? Look at this. Look at this. It's lovely. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Welcome to the Dangerous Faggot Tour. Thank you for coming. Welcome. I am, of course, the supervillain of the internet, somebody too dangerous for college campuses, so dangerous for the fragile psyches of college students that multiple colleges are trying to get me banned or restricted. Your own school, I'm sorry to tell you, tried at the last minute to slap another $800 on in security fees. But they saw sense. They saw sense at the end. They realized that would be dumb. So they took the charge off, probably because they didn't want me to do this, which is roast them on stage. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Welcome, everybody, to the final election extravaganza in my tour. This is the last opportunity we'll get to see each other, to have fun, and to talk about that woman. Before you go and cast your votes in honor of the Ohio State University, which I understand is very important to say the, people get very upset if you don't say the. Look, a few people in this audience probably imagined, are you all right, dear? You're very late. You're very late. What were you doing? What were you doing? Now, I couldn't really begin the speech this evening without addressing a very serious subject. And that very serious subject is spirit cooking. Has anybody heard of spirit cooking? Which is a sort of bizarre, pseudo-artistic, leftist, occultist ritual which involves... yes, something like that. Which involves... the member of the family you never hear about. A leftist occultist ritual masquerading as art, which involves cooking with semen, breast milk, blood, various other bodily fluids, or as I like to call it, Tuesday. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Now, I know a thing or two about black magic. The ancient spirits of Africa flow through me. Regularly. I've been... What? Who did you think you were coming to see? If you didn't like that, you should strap yourself in, because there's a lot more coming. Now, I knew, I think we all did, that Hillary Clinton had sold her soul to Saudi Arabia. But who knew she'd sold it to the devil too? I had no idea. Can't be worth very much. Worth less than America's uranium, clearly. Who knew that I'm with her applied to supernatural deities? We shouldn't be surprised. Lesbianism and witchcraft go together hand in hand. Like Donald Trump and winning. Tell me, Hillary, how many electoral votes does hell have? I thought I understood the Electoral College. Is there some loophole I don't know about? Just you down there with Saul Alinsky figuring it all out? I mean, oh, what happened? Oh, no, Daddy fell down. We can't have that. No, it's like the Quran. It can't be on the floor. Can't be on the floor. There we go. See? I told you, occult forces. She did. She did it from beyond the grave. Right. Now you stay where you are. In states without voter ID, when Ashtaroth and Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies, show up, what election official is going to turn them down? The Clintons have turned into such villains that the demons they summon ask them for tips. It's like a masterclass in demonic behavior. The devil's sort of calling her up saying, how have you got away with so much in one mortal human lifetime? I must know. If you want an example of media bias, consider what would happen if one of Donald Trump's aides was involved in some kind of dark satanic ritual. The closest Daddy gets, of course, is this bizarre way of eating that he has, which I know. Come on, man! This is a relationship we all have with our fathers. We love them. We know they're the best for us. We know that they're going to lead us to the promised land, but occasionally they do make us cringe. Nobody's daddy is perfect. Now, you won't hear a word, of course, about spirit cooking in the mainstream media, because Hillary Clinton is the chosen one. And who knows? Perhaps the media and Hillary have the same boss. What's that? I'm sure Team Hillary is staging a black mass as we speak, by the way, which is incidentally how I plan to spend the evening. All right, I'll stop. All right, let's take things to a more... Oh, all right, catch up, thank you. Let's take things to a more wholesome and family-friendly place, shall we? This is the glorious future that awaits you if you make the right decision on Tuesday. Very pleased to be in Central Ohio for my last college speech before the election. Ohio is a very important state. Very important. I hope everyone in this room and the thousands watching on the live stream are going to vote for Donald Trump. You have to do it. Of course, your governor, John Kasich. Something tells me he's not getting re-elected. Hungry John Kasich chose not to vote for Daddy. He wrote in John McCain, who shares all of Hillary Clinton's politics. He only lacks her trademark personal charm. When I encourage people from Ohio to vote for Donald Trump, I don't think I have to mention, that only legal voters should do so. There's no point bothering to ask illegals, felons, and the dead to vote, because we know they're going to vote for Hillary. Why do dead people always vote Democrat? Perhaps they see a kindred spirit. Perhaps they see a kindred spirit in the candidate. Who knows? We already know they're voting Clinton. Each group of ineligible voters has their own motivations to break the law. In the case of the dead, I believe they're the only people who can get a good deal on Obamacare. It's a good job Hillary Clinton's so rich. I mean, she's in and out of hospital so much, she'd never get off the phone begging for coverage. All those little EpiPens. That heavy water. Do you know what heavy water is? Have you heard of that? It's this sort of special water you have when you've got a cough that won't stop. I don't know what they do to it. It's a heavy water. She doesn't even drink normal water. Now, some of you will be wondering why a handsome, successful, witty, popular Brit has come here, that's me, has come here to tell you where you're all going wrong. Well, the reason is America needs to sort itself out. Snap out of this lunacy. You know 9/11 happened here, and you didn't learn your lesson. You didn't learn what happens when you mollycoddle and pander to dark forces elsewhere in the world. You didn't learn. And now America's on the verge of a close call between a woman who masquerades as a progressive, but is in fact merely an engine of globalist elites, and Daddy. Possibly the most wonderful person ever to run for president. He is. But America's not making the obvious choice. America's not making the clear, obvious choice. Well, at least I say that. It's happening, isn't it? Have you seen the polls recently? Finally, Finally, those lying journalists and mendacious pollsters are grudgingly drawing back their oversampling, actually asking equal numbers of Republicans and Democrats. And what do you know? People don't like Hillary very much. They just don't like her all that much. There's a rich history, of course, of Americans bringing Europeans over to remind them of all of the things that they ought to know. It's easy for Americans, apparently, to forget a simple fact, which is that everyone around the world yearns to live in this country. Everybody wants to be here. America is the best country in the goddamn world. It is wonderful. Here we go. It is, and I say this as an admiring visitor, it is the greatest country in the history of human civilization. It is a tremendous place, but it's not going to stay a tremendous place unless Daddy gets into the White House. America is, in the words of Ronald Reagan, who, once Daddy takes office, will be the second best president in history, the last best hope of mankind. Because we're so close to the election, I'm going to talk to you about a few sort of unrelated topics that I think are very pertinent, that should be in your minds and in the minds of your friends and the minds of the people you're talking to, as you go out there and advocate for Daddy and persuade people of how they should be voting. Keep your tray tables in the upright position. It's going to be a bumpy ride, particularly those people over there who didn't like the black dick jokes. Hillary Clinton sells everything that isn't nailed down, trades favors for cash, and flagrantly breaks the rules at every turn. I know that sounds like the Ohio State football team for the last 5 years. My friends from Michigan made me do it. And I was doing so well tonight. It is in fact not your football team, but the current presidential candidate of the current year. Every day we learn in the news of new and more awful. Just checking. New and even more awful revelations. In fact, as far as I can tell, I've looked this up, my researchers have tried to find this, the only federal law enforcement agency not... So just in case some of you get bored booing, you've just got a button. Somebody just brought it on a tape recorder. You don't know how many pictures of Hillary Clinton I'm going to put up tonight, and it's just sort of, oh, yeah. This is not the high-energy crowd I've come to expect. Now, the only federal law enforcement agency that is not investigating Hillary Clinton appears to be the Coast Guard. So, congratulations to Hillary for not violating the territorial waters of this great nation. At least not yet. She hasn't quite got around to it yet. Many people are suffering from election fatigue. They're tired of the drama. I'm not. They're tired of the name-calling. I'm not. They're tired of the constant back and forth. I'm not. They're tired of an election that hasn't looked like previous elections. Well, I think this election is fantastic. This election is an uprising of popular sentiment against the machine, against the establishment, against a wonderful thing. Now, Hillary's legal problems aren't the reason she can't win, as bad as they are. I'm going to give you 5 reasons, just 5, which present a conclusive case as to why Hillary Clinton cannot possibly be allowed to set foot in Pennsylvania Avenue again. Number 1 is the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is at risk of possibly 4 or maybe more Clinton appointees. They will spend the next 3 decades destroying the Constitution. They will spend the next 3 decades unpicking the First and Second Amendments, desperately trying to poke holes in the 2 things that make America wonderful. The First Amendment, which of course I love and take much advantage of every day. And the Second Amendment, which is my favorite. And as a bonus, if that wasn't enough, Ruth Bader Ginsburg has promised to resign if Trump gets into the White House. What more reason do you need? What more reason could you possibly need? All those celebrities who say they're going to leave. Oh, if Trump wins, I'm moving to Canada. Fucking go! What are you waiting for? I think the ballot should just say, Lena Dunham and Amy Schumer stay, Lena Dunham and Amy Schumer leave. I think it would be conclusive. 2, amnesty. If Hillary Clinton grants, as she surely wishes to, because this is how Democrats work, by importing voters who they can get clamped to the public teat. If she manages to grant amnesty to 11 million or however many illegal aliens, which is a phrase you're not allowed to use in campus newspapers or you get fired. Poor little thing, I think his name is Aviv Kavich at Rutgers, just got fired from the Daily Targum, Rutgers newspaper, because he dared to use the expression illegal aliens. If Hillary Clinton legitimizes and documents these people, the Republicans will never win another election. The future of this country will be determined in that moment. Perhaps even more rapidly and more speedily than the Supreme Court. If you think you'll ever see another Republican elected after that happens, you probably still have a Jeb Bush sticker on your car. Refugees. And they are, of course, in inverted commas, as we call them in Britain. They're in quotes, because these people are not refugees. These people are economic migrants. Hillary Clinton is intent on flooding this country with Muslim refugees. It's worked out so wonderfully for Germany, after all. Germany, whose public services are about to collapse. Or Sweden, which now has the unique distinction of being Europe's rape capital, thanks to Islamic immigration. Thanks, lefties. Well done. All the feminists complaining about campus rape culture, wait till you get a load of what's coming. You won't like it. And I'm not wishing it on you, but it is the future you have chosen. Trade deals. Hillary will continue Obama's tradition of disastrous trade deals. Jobs will disappear faster from this country than you can say China. This one should hit home with you because you are the guys who are going to have to move to Jakarta or Mexico City to do anything with your degrees. That's the future. That's what will happen. Healthcare. Now, Hillary has said that before it was called Obamacare, it was called Hillary Care. She's probably not quite so happy with that comparison now. You haven't heard her say that in a little while. Every time she needs an EpiPen or a glug of heavy water, she must thank her lucky stars that it took so long to get it enacted. One more reason, the reason that I know that a lot of Trump supporters care about. Hillary Clinton is a warmonger. She is a globalist warmonger masquerading as a progressive. She has the support of neocons, of the never-Trumpers. Bill Kristol. Paul Ryan's wife's boyfriend. Because she's intent, just like they are, on toppling Middle Eastern states. She seems intent on picking a fight with Russia too. There's almost no better example of how fucked the media in this country is than them finding it weird that Trump would say it would be nice if we got along with another nuclear superpower. This, in the bizarro world of American media, is evidence of his recklessness, not hers. We'll get onto the media in a second. Just because Hillary sold America's uranium to Russia doesn't mean that she should encourage them to use it on us. These 6 policies should make you shake, rattle, and roll more than Hillary after the meds have worn off. Donald Trump, on the other hand, Daddy, will restore strength, virtue, masculinity to America. He will restore them as virtues in America, like they used to be. We've had enough coddling. We've had enough nurturing. We've had enough safe spaces. We've had enough hurt feelings. We've had enough fucking trigger warnings. Maybe it's time to make America hate again. Now hold on. I meant what I said. Because there is virtue in meanness. And not so much, the typical meaning of meanness, but in tough love. When you don't tell people the truth to spare their feelings, which is what feminism does, which is what Black Lives Matter does, which is what the progressive left does generally, you don't help them, and you don't help anybody else either. Tough love requires telling the truth. Tough love requires telling people to shut the fuck up when they're talking garbage. Tough love requires telling people when they're spouting conspiracy theories or outright lies. Tough love requires you to say, you know what, you're not going to like this in the short term, but here's where we're going. That's what conservatives and libertarians are very good at, and what Democrats have never been able to do. And that tough love, I think, is what Donald Trump offers. And I think it'd be very good for the country. If we consider the cis-heteropatriarchy, as we're required to call it, well, we used to just call it civilization. I note with interest you gave the largest round of applause to yourselves. Thank you for that. If you consider civilization, yes, enough. Masculinity, which has driven it for so long, is its greatest, highest virtue. The word virtue itself comes from Latin, which means moral strength, high character, goodness, manliness, valor, bravery, courage, excellence, and worth. All things that you could imagine in gold on the side of a Trump building. Not things that you associate with Hillary Clinton. Well, what Donald Trump will really do is bring tough love back. Tell people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. The old saying goes, there are no atheists in foxholes. I would prefer to amend that slightly to there are no atheists, vapors, cyclists, male feminists, libertarians, or Hillary voters in foxholes. Think about some of your fellow college students. Everyone in this room knows someone that by age is a man, but acts like a child. America is turning into a nation of crybabies. Like Tim Kaine. Back before America and civilization hated itself, we applauded tough men. We liked tough guys. We realized what they brought with them. And we knew that we couldn't make tough men and honorable women without a bit of tough love. If you want to keep civilization, you better start by insisting that boys grow up instead of mollycoddling them, instead of pandering to their feelings, instead of allowing them safe space culture. Now, I can't imagine Donald Trump sucking his thumb, unless he's just been to KFC or something. But contrast this with Hillary Clinton, the ultimate crybaby. She can't stop complaining about the wage gap, the gender wage gap. The Clinton Foundation, by the way, has the worst gender wage gap of any reporting I've ever seen. You know what the media company with the worst gender gap was? And I say was because it's gone now. Gawker. Always the people who preach the loudest practice the least. And the Democrats are a perfect example of that in this country. You have to feel for poor Bill, of course. Every time he sees gender and gap, he gets a hard-on and then he sees Hillary's crooked eyes, her evil smile, and he's booking himself another ticket on the Lolita Express. Oh, what? What do you think pizza means in those emails? Pizza. Oh, we're going for pizza. Did you leave a napkin with your address on it at the pizza party? Now, I'm my friend, Pizza Party Ben. Some of you will know on the internet. I've advised him to sue for bringing the name of pizza parties into disrepute. Sue Podesta.